So Yin Yoga is what we're doing today. I think Yin is an interesting practice because, and we need it in our lives because mostly we tend to have very yang lives or lead very yang lives. So yang lives are sort of, it's just very active, right? We like to have our to-do lists, get them done. Even our yoga practices tend to be quite yang, and what I mean by that is that they're active. We're trying to get into a pose really deeply. We're trying to push ourselves and get, better at what we're doing. And so it's very, sometimes it's goal orientated, even though yoga is not really supposed to be like that. We do quite often do poses where we're trying to, move into something even more, active, and that's where it's going. So with our very yang lives, Yin Yoga is quite difficult because Yin is much more, it's more passive, and it's in some ways it's actually harder because what happens is that we hold a pose. We'll go into a pose and we hold it maybe for 3 minutes, and in Yin Yoga, in some classes you might even hold a pose for like 7 minutes. But we're gonna it's our first Yin class together here. So we're going to just do 3 minutes holding of each pose. And the poses are not necessarily that difficult. So we get into the pose and we go, okay, this is okay, I can handle this. But it's a practice because after 3 minutes or somewhere in the middle of that 3 minutes, or maybe nearly at the beginning of that 3 minutes, we might be going, oh, this is challenging, this is uncomfortable. So it's an exercise in stillness because our natural instincts might be to kind of fidget and move and get out of it. It's also a practice in patience, right? Because we're going to try and be patient and stick with it and be calm. Good morning. And it's also a practice in non-reactivity. So we're just talking about Yin Yoga, like you just joined us, and we're just talking about how it's a practice in stillness, patience, and non-reactivity. So what Yin Yoga does is it really helps us with flexibility, but it's flexibility of the connective tissue. So it's that tissue between the muscles and the fascia. And they're a little bit more tough. So sometimes they get a little bit, they get less flexible with age or maybe with injury. But they need a little bit more help. You have to sit with a particular posture for a little while in order for them to kind of become a little bit more flexible. And it also can improve circulation in the joints. So it can be good for all sorts of things. In a way, it's sort of meditative. It's a way of practicing sitting with yourself, sitting with your physical body, sitting with your emotions, and sitting with your mind. So we're going to play a little bit with that today. Just trying to think if there's... Okay, so we're going to get started. As I mentioned, we will want to have bolsters, cushions, pillows, or if you have blocks, you could grab some blocks and you can just have them close to you. And we're going to start off in a child's pose. Now, with a child's pose, you can have your knees open wide, and you can bring yourself down any amount. Now, once you come down, you may feel that you need something underneath your head. So ideally, you would have something underneath your head to help rest you. So you can bring pillows, for example, or a block. You can build it up any height that you need to in order to find a comfortable spot. So something like this. Whatever feels good for you, find that comfortable space. And then just walk yourself down into your child's pose. So I'm going to move a little bit so I can talk to you and be sitting up. So you don't need to. Once you get into your pose, just sit in your pose. So find what you can comfortably be in. Relax through the arms, relax through the body. So just take a moment here and just scan your body. And you can scan your body from the top of your head and just checking that your jaw is relaxed, that your head and your neck, that you're letting go of any tension, that your shoulders are relaxed. Feel your back and your chest and your belly just relaxing, just scanning your hips, your arms, your hands, your legs and feet. And then you can bring your attention to your breath. In Yin Yoga, we tend to really breathe into the belly, into the diaphragm area, whereas the top part of the chest is generally still. So you're really working as you inhale to really expand through the diaphragm. And then as you exhale, lengthening the exhale. So the exhale tends to be longer than the inhale in Yin Yoga. So breathe here. Slowing down the breath, breathing through the nose. And just notice, you might find that you've got the tendency already to want to fidget or move. And of course, if you come into any painful situation, where you're welcome to come out of at any time. But part of the practice is to sit with that discomfort, if it feels a bit uncomfortable and not painful, and just to breathe through it. Practice not running away and dealing with what comes up. Trying to stay still and finding comfort in the discomfort. Deep breaths, we're just slowing everything down. Slowly coming out of that pose, very slowly coming on up. And you're going to come and sit on your butt. And you're going to bring your feet out in front of you. And we're going to drop the knees to one side. So the knees are going to come over to the side. So what you're trying to achieve here, is that the front leg is parallel to the top of your mat. And then the side leg is parallel to the side of your mat. So you've kind of got your knees at right angles and you're here. This is called deer pose in Yin Yoga. So you're just having your feet quite wide and you're just dropping them over to one side. Yep. And again, you're trying to get a right angle with the front leg and a right angle roughly with the second leg. And then the shins are perpendicular to each other. of each leg. So one is parallel with the front, the other the back. And there's a couple of options here. You can either just bring yourself back, putting your hands down behind you, and you can close your eyes here. So that's option one. And maybe that's quite interesting for you. Or you can come down, leaning over that front leg, and just leaning down into it. You can bring blocks or mats beneath your head, if you like. Or you can bring your hands one on top of another underneath your head. So whatever feels good in this pose, find your pose and then let go and relax. Finding that breath, the yin breath, the slow inhale, and then the even slower, longer exhale. You can notice maybe the discomfort within your body, and then just keep breathing. In any pose or every pose, you can also scan your body from head to toes, and just making sure each part of your body is as relaxed as it can be in that particular pose. You can close your eyes to help you get more deeply inwards if that feels good. And notice what happens to your mind in these poses. Does it try to think that you cannot do this? Does it talk yourself out of it? Does it try and wonder and think about something else? Can you bring your mind back to this situation where you are right now, comfortable or uncomfortable? And just focus on your breath, the sensations in your body. Just being in this moment. And then very slowly moving yourself out of this pose. So just coming back to center. Again, the feet are fairly wide apart as you drop yourself over to the other side. And again, you're just checking here whether your shins are perpendicular with each other. So the front one is perpendicular, is parallel to the front of the mat. The other leg is parallel with the side of your mat. And again, you can bring your hands behind you and you can close your eyes here. This is excellent, and you're getting a really great stretch here. And the other option is to bring yourself forward, whether you need mats or cushions or whatever you might need, blocks, or just coming down. And just find your pose here. And breathe, trying not to fidget. Trying to keep the mind on what is happening in this moment. If you find your mind really wants to wander, you can play with counting how long it takes you to inhale with each breath. And see if you can double the exhale. So say you're counting, inhaling for 4. Can you exhale for 6? So you don't need to force it. It's just an idea. Otherwise, just continuing with your breath. Notice what kinds of thoughts come up for you in the poses. So be like a scientist, be curious and observe. I'm thinking about this at the moment. That's interesting. And then instead of continuing with that thought, just letting it go and bringing your mind back to what's happening in the present. So just imagine your thoughts are like clouds in the sky. You might notice them as they pass, but you don't attach to them. You don't continue with their story. You just let them go. And then you're going to slowly move on up, coming back into center, just noticing, being paying attention to your legs, to your muscles, to how your legs feel. You're going to bring the left leg in, right leg extending out in front of you. So it's tree pose here. And again, you might want to grab onto some pillows or whatever you have. So again, in more of a Yang Yoga class, we might try and reach and see how far we can reach. In this particular pose, we need to let go of that kind of control, and we just fold down over that leg. So there's something about letting go of control here and just enjoying this particular space and time, this moment. I'm just folding over that leg. So first of all, finding the pose that feels good for you or that feels manageable for you. And then bringing all your attention into just letting go of control, just being here. We don't need to worry about alignment or anything else or getting far into the pose. We're just breathing into the space that we're in. Again, just notice what comes up for you in this stillness. Our minds are quite active often. So just observe, be that scientist. Notice what comes up. And keep breathing and let it go. It's just a thought. Those thoughts are not always true. It's just a thought, so let it go. And then slowly rolling up out of this pose. You can keep your gaze inwards if you like. Just gently working on switching the legs. And again, just slowly coming in to the pose. And slowly coming out of that. We're just going to come into a straddle here. So you might find, for me, I like to bring a cushion underneath my seat. So it gives me a little bit of a tilt. So I'm just kind of at the edge of that cushion. And then you can, again, just come down any amount forward. Finding, so if you've got more flexibility, you can come all the way down. But just remembering we're all different. And breathing wherever you find yourself. Remembering the breath. Maybe also scanning your body, particularly checking in with your jaw, making sure it's relaxed. Your shoulders. And anywhere else that maybe feels like it's a little tight or has tension. This yin practice is really excellent for just stress relief and supporting the nervous system.
Checking in with your mind, seeing where it's at, and gently bringing it back to this space.
And then slowly coming out of that. I'm going to bring the legs together and we're going to come into a lunge here. So we're just going to come onto hands and knees. You can bring your front foot forward. And again, you might stay here, or you may build up, or you might come down on the inside of that leg and come down any amount. But again, you can build up anything you need to help you to get into this pose and just really relax and let go. So you can just bring yourself onto cushions. You can bring your head down if you like. But your front knee is bent. The knee is roughly over the ankle. And then you're just relaxing and breathing. Notice any discomfort. Trying to stick with the stillness and push through that discomfort. In each pose, just settling into the space. Using your breath, especially when things get challenging. Checking again with your mind. Has it gone for a wander? Can you lead it back? Gently moving here, calming out very carefully. And then you're going to move the other direction with the other leg. So you're just switching legs here, making any adjustments that you might need. And then finding a way to sink down into this pose.
enjoying the juicy stretch. Checking in with your jaw, with your shoulders, releasing any stress, any tension there. So part of yoga is learning to sit with ourselves, to accept ourselves just the way we are. When we sit in stillness or we stay in a pose for a while in Yin Yoga, we're teaching ourselves, we're learning how to do that. Patience, compassion. And then you're going to slowly make your way out of that pose, coming back onto hands and knees. And we're going to come into a Sphinx pose slowly from here. So the forearms are just coming down to the ground. You can do this with pillows or without pillows between your arms. So they're about shoulder distance apart, hands face down. And so you've got a choice here. You can just be up with your head and close your eyes here, or you can just rest your head down on pillows or blocks. Whatever feels best for you. Again, finding that pose, finding that comfort to start with. Relaxing all your muscles once you get there. Scanning your body to check if there's any extra tension. And bringing your focus and attention to your breath. letting any tensions or frustrations of life, just let them just drift away. Let them go. Finding that inner peace, that inner calm, even if the world is chaotic. And slowly coming out of that. We're going to stay on the belly, sort of. We're going to bring the left arm out to the side. And we're lying on the belly at this moment. And then you can just turn onto your side body. So you might use a block or a pillow under your head. You might bend that right leg or the top leg and bring it behind you. Or you can bring it in front of you, whichever feels better. And then the other hand, you can tense your fingertips and place them on the ground, or you can just leave that hand coming over the back. So this is a shoulder stretch. Once you get into it, you can close your eyes. Breathe. Keep that breath going in and out of the diaphragm. So, or filling up the diaphragm rather, and then emptying the diaphragm with your breath. And also keeping that exhale longer than the inhale. Slowly rolling back onto your belly. The other arm is going to come out to the side, the palm down. It's perpendicular to your body. You're coming onto your side here. The other top leg can come as a kickstand behind you. The front fingers can come down to the ground, or they can wrap around the back. And just closing your eyes here. And just checking in with how your mind is going. Maybe it's finding some resistance to this yin practice. See if you can just breathe into that. It's just an experience. So giving it a go. So you can let go of control and just experience and enjoy this. However challenging it might be to find that stillness. To sit with the discomfort. Or to find patience. Or compassion. And then gently coming back onto the belly. We're going to turn onto the back here. So just flip onto your back. We're going to bring our arms up overhead. So we've got like our fingers are going to touch at the top, finding space. So just the fingers touch at the top. We're going to bring the arms over to the right side. So we're moving them. You might need to move your head a little bit. We're going to come into like a banana shape. So the feet are also going to come to the right side. And you can then hook the left foot over the right. So you're getting a really nice side body stretch on the left side. So again, it's a banana shape. You're moving your arms over to the right side, legs over to the right side, and then the left leg is just hooking over the right. Again, closing the eyes, bringing your focus inwards, bringing your attention to your breath, to any thoughts that might arise, but we're just watching them and letting them go. Any sensations in the body. coming back into center with legs and arms. And then we're just moving the other direction, finding your banana shape the other way. Right leg or right ankle hooks over the left. And then slowly coming back into center. You're going to interlace the fingers behind your head here, bringing your feet onto the ground. And you're just going to cross that left knee or the left leg over the right. And then just dropping the knees over to the right side. So it's a spinal twist, but your head is just cradled in your hands, looking up to the sky. You can close your eyes. Sticking with it, you're nearly there. Checking in with the breath, slowing it down with a focus on the long exhale. And then slowly moving the knees to center. Switching the cross of the legs. You might even switch the fingers around so it's a different pinky underneath the other one. Crossing the legs, so the right leg over the left, and just dropping the knees over to the left side. Slowly coming to center. So we're going to come into Shavasana here. You've got a choice. You can put your feet together, knees coming out to the sides in Baddha Konasana, and you could tuck some cushions or whatever you like under your knees if that feels good. The other alternative is just to come into more standard Shavasana where your feet are just coming out, palms face up, shoulders pressing into the ground. So whatever feels good for you, whatever your body needs or craves. And I'll do a very small gong bath in this too during this session. So while you're here, just feeling your connection with the ground, with the mat. Scan your body one last time to just see if there's any areas where there's particular tension that might still be there. And see if you can soften in those areas and let that tension go. You can let go of controlling the breath. And just be. Finding a little bit of movement in your body, maybe wriggling fingers or toes, maybe reaching your arms up overhead and finding a nice stretch from toes to fingers. And then bringing your knees into your chest, giving yourself a really nice unconditional hug. Being there for yourself, having your back with all the challenges that are in life. Rolling onto your side, so maybe on your right side, bringing your right arm underneath your ear as a pillow. Just pausing here in fetal pose, knowing that the ground is there to support you. And then you can gently press yourself up into a seated pose. However that feels good. Lengthening the spine. So you're getting nice and tall, shoulders away from the ears, shoulder blades towards each other. Thumbs and index fingers touching, palms facing up. And just sitting for a few breaths. Again, you can inhale here through the nose, and you can notice the pause between the inhale and the exhale, and then lengthening that exhale. So just do a couple more like that. Inhaling, holding the breath, noticing that hold for a moment. And then exhaling, trying to find that really lengthened exhale, just slowly letting it out through the nose. One last time. Inhaling, holding here. And then finding that lovely long exhale, really helping to dissolve any tension or stress that was in your body left over. Bringing hands to heart center, reaching the arms to both sides and all the way up, touching the hands at the top and bringing the hands down to the heart center. Again, inhale, reaching out and up. Hands touch. Exhale, hands coming to heart center. Final time, reaching out and up. Gathering anything that you need in your body right now, or for your mind or mental health, whatever it might be, and exhaling that towards your heart center. Pausing here to find gratitude for yourself, for taking the time today for your body, for your mind. And then bringing the hands to the third eye center. It's always a pleasure having you in classes and guiding you through your practice. Thank you for being here, for your energy. Namaste.